Morning, beautiful. You ready for a garden walk?
Do it.
Let's rock and roll, folks.
In my old Kentucky home, good night. Weep no more, my lady. Oh, weep no more today. We will sing one song for my old Kentucky home, for my old Kentucky home far away.
Hey y'all, welcome to Stiver's Homestead. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jen.
And today is Garden Walk Day.
Yay.
Number 13. Man, so we are 4, 8, 12, we're over 3 months into these garden walks. And you can tell it.
Yeah.
Things are starting to go down that mountain. So we peaked, and now we're starting to go back down. Things are starting to bring themselves back a little bit. Not as much extreme growth. We're having some issues with the heat and just dryness. It's been so dry here today. I don't think it's rained in a month.
Yeah.
So we have to keep watering everything, and you know, you're about to just see it all. So it's almost time for fall garden anyway, so that's what we're gonna show you.
Let's do it.
Is it too early for you, babe?
It's early. And it's hot.
And it's hot already. So starting off over here, because I don't think we showed this one in the last one. What's that thing called?
Celosia.
Celosia. It is just getting big up in here and looking all kinds of pretty. We got a couple peppers and that lily over here. They're really just not doing anything, just kind of hanging out doing their own thing. And then what's that one?
Caladium.
Caladium. Looking good. An update on the zinnias. I just cut everything back because they were all basically dead. So I've cut it back just to see if maybe we can get a fall growth out of them. I don't know. Maybe. I know there's one little guy that's hanging out right there. How about you, little buddy? All right. Where are you taking them next, babe?
To the garden bed that's dying.
Dying off.
So we told you last week that we found squash bugs all over our zucchini and squash. And we have lost a few. Honestly, I thought that when we showed you this week that everything would be dead. But it's not. And it's kind of taken a while. And I mean, you can see the effects of it, but they're still producing, and it's actually okay. With it being August, almost mid-August, we were okay with it anyway, but the process of them killing everything has taken so long that, I mean, they would have died anyway, so we're okay with it.
Yep. And you know, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it feels like the squash bug problem isn't as bad as it was. This is the one that we're on. There's one. But we're doing our best to try to resolve the issues. But like Jen said, you know, you get to a point, and if you're going to be an organic gardener, you're not going to have the longest life as you would from a chemical garden. Keeping bugs away. This is part of the natural process. So some of the things you almost just have to accept and kind of let go.
Honestly, I was done with zucchini anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, we got enough to last all year. Over here is the pumpkin patch that's doing really well. We got pumpkins everywhere, little Jack B. Littles that are just rocking and rolling. But to me, right now, the pride and joys that we are doing everything we can to make sure survives are these Cherokee tan pumpkins. And we've got 2 over here. Boom and boom. And this thing is taking over this whole area, and we're just making sure, because we want to really make sure that we do this good, save the seeds, and be able to give them back out like Crazy Daisies and Deep South Homestead, Miss Wanda, Mr. Danny did. So we want to make sure that we're sharing that love back out. Oh, I see another one. He kind of mixed in over here with the Jack B. Littles. But that's kind of the pride and joy right now, is making sure these survive. The squash bugs don't make it over from their cousin squash. and that we can actually keep these things pumping and keep Ellie out of the garden. But these little Jack B. Littles, they're just popping up everywhere, and they're so cute. Look at them. Aren't they cool? I mean, we're gonna have a bunch of those. But over here, ultimately, everything's doing pretty well. The sunflowers are starting to lose some stuff. Things are picking on them, but there's so many heads, and they're so pretty. There's a huge bee right there on that guy. Let's see if I can zoom in and get him. Do your thing, Mr. B. Do your thing. There's the tilled garden. What you got?
Before we move on, here's the real MVP of the garden.
Yeah.
Y'all know we do fish fertilizer, and we got this new one from Hoss Tools, and it's doing amazing things. So we are absolutely loving it. If you're interested in fish fertilizer, it's good for everything. Check it out down below in our link, and you will not regret it because it's awesome.
That's for sure. And last week was our first time using that, and we said that we would tell you if it was going to have any kind of difference. The difference is still awesome growth from it. So we knew it wouldn't be any worse because it's just straight fish fertilizer. But it seems to be doing really well. These peppers are part to prove that. Look at these bad boys. They're still just taking off. There ain't a single one sick. They just keep getting bigger and bigger. They're
not even getting eaten on or anything.
No, not at all.
I think these are those hot ones.
Are those the hot ones?
I think, like by their shape.
That did us dirty.
So we lost all of our labels to our peppers. So basically we just err on the side of caution every time we eat one.
Yeah, and we didn't think we planted anything hotter than jalapeno, which we've mentioned before, but this is part of the bed that helped us get all of that cowboy candy. Look at all these peppers in here. All them jalapenos, bell peppers. You got some popping up in here. But they're getting really good. Like I said, they're healthy. This bed is gonna last for a while, and we're just gonna let it keep running. For show. All right, Mr. Loofah.
Still no loofahs.
Not a one.
So, I don't know. I haven't lost hope, but will I grow them again next year? No.
And I saw a lot of you all say, like at Living Traditions, she said she had none, then all of a sudden she had a bunch of them. So maybe we're still there. But I do know Mr. Cucumber is just kept on going. He's up in there with them. He's big and tall.
Need that.
Need that one? I'll get it. Get her in just a second.
There's cucumbers everywhere.
Yep, there's still cucumbers everywhere.
Did pickles.
The plants are starting to struggle a little bit just with the heat and starting to die back a little bit. Besides this one. This one is just really still just doing strong. But he's going to start getting choked out by the loofah.
Mm-hmm.
Where you at?
Okay.
Loofah. See, these loofahs
choking out my okra.
You have to pretty much every single day go put him back on the trellis.
It's attached all over it. Look, it's done spun it around.
The actual
oh my
okra.
Goodness. Yeah, look. Wow.
Yeah. So if you plant loofah, you really got to make sure that you maintain it very well. I just haven't got to it this morning, but we'll get it off there, and you can just see the flowers all over that thing. I mean, it looks very pretty on a trellis. Don't get us wrong. And it gives you plenty of shade, but I don't know.
Bees everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over them flowers. I know you probably can't tell them on the camera, but they're everywhere, so there's not a pollination issue. Looks like a dragonfly.
Ew, it's like a spider dragonfly. Oh, he's got a bee.
Oh, he does have a bee. Well, that's not fun.
That's not nice. Oh, no, that's a horsefly.
That ain't a horsefly. Yeah, no. Oh, he's got a horsefly?
No,
he's not a horsefly.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we're sitting there talking about it. Y'all can't even see what we're talking about, but there's natural selection happening up there. Food chain stuff going on. So we'll move on.
Okra's doing well.
Yeah, the okra's getting tall. She's about to become a tree. Right now she's a large size bush, and she'll just keep going. We got 3 of them in here, and
okra coming out like crazy.
Bush beans, we've already talked about them.
Not gonna ever grow them again. A lot of people said that, you know, they hope I try again, and sometimes we do. If something doesn't do well, sometimes we will try it again if we think it was like a soil issue or environment issue. But as for crappy varieties, we're probably just not gonna do it again.
Yeah.
I don't like the shape of them. I don't like the way they taste. I don't like anything about them. So it's not gonna happen. We're not gonna do it again and just count it up as a loss. We tried.
But we do have a positive thing to talk about here in a minute with some of the other bush beans that we got going on. But the Chinese red noodle beans are still producing.
Yeah.
However, they're starting to die back a little. You can see down here, we got leaves all over the ground.
Which is okay because I need this trellis for fall. So once they're completely dead and gone, we're gonna pull them up and plant something else there for fall.
But we planted 7 plants. Basically gave each one its own little line to grow up. And these things produce so much, so quick.
Do you see what's happening to this trellis? This loofah is pushing it.
Yeah, it's leaning it over.
Oh my goodness.
There's just so much, it's so heavy.
Wow.
Loofah, loofah. Cucumbers over here, these aren't doing as well as the ones up there.
There's still cucumbers.
But there's still cucumbers growing on them. They're just dying back. They just doing the thing, just to keep rocking it.
We need to come out here and harvest these noodle beans. We're still eating them and still freezing them, so we'll just keep going with them until we can't go no more.
Yeah, you get a ginormous harvest in a very short amount of time with these bad boys.
Yeah, you almost have to be prepared to preserve the Chinese red noodle beans because you just can't eat that much.
No, they come out and then you get about a dinner's worth.
Yeah.
And then
after that, it's this explosion and you better be ready to start freezing.
Explosion. Bonnie's Best tomato plants still doing their thing. You know, they're for the most part healthy, a little leaf curl, nothing bad. Y'all know we've been fighting leaf curl with these things ever since they started.
But they're still putting out beautiful tomatoes.
They sure are. Everything's been good. And these tomatoes are really tasty. They're
This is our
community one.
Basically community tomato bed because people keep coming up here and stealing our ripe tomatoes.
Yeah, and this is the bed they always go to. Everybody loves these bright.
They're perfectly round.
Yep, these beautiful Bonnie's Best ones.
They're doing really well though.
Yep. What's up, Ellie? You all right over there sunbathing? Someone commented how she photobombs like every single video, and she really does. She makes a scene.
Alright, so Tea Garden has had a bit of a makeover. It needs some water. It's a little dry. But I have pulled out the dandelion greens because I don't want no more, and I don't even think the animals want any more.
I don't want no more.
I don't want no more. So I've pulled all that out. I also pulled out the chamomile because I didn't want any more chamomile. Oh, look at the bees. Beautiful. The marigolds are still rocking. I need to harvest them, as you can see, but I mean, even when I harvest those, they're just gonna come right back. All these little guys are gonna open back up. They're just crazy. Probably the best thing I've ever grown as far as production.
Yeah.
They smell so good too.
You can pick every single one of them flowers off, and literally in 2 days, it's gonna look like this all over again.
My licorice basil is still here. I'm still using that. I'm dehydrating it and using it.
It's such a pretty plant. I love that purple.
And then here's the main reason that I pulled out the dandelions and the chamomile is because I wanted my lemon balm to be able to bush out and get bigger because I'm doing a lot of stuff with this. I'm gonna have a video on it probably next week. Excuse me, Mr. Weed. I don't think so.
Well, she's pulling weed. Did you notice this?
What?
You pulled up your chamomile.
It's coming back.
It's coming back, isn't it?
I don't need you.
But we'll take it.
But anyways, I'm letting this get bigger and bush out. It was being choked by the dandelions and the chamomile, and I want more of it. So it's probably doubled in size since I did that. So keep going, little lemon balm. I love you.
It has room to spread out now. All right. Got to go. Rebel tomatoes and our original bush beans that we have, which are producing still.
They look awful, but they're still producing.
Yep. And then these are Ace 55s and beefsteaks. So the reason they're so small is because they got a much later start getting put in the ground, but they're doing good. They're starting to produce quite a few tomatoes. And honestly, it's caught up to about the size of most all of our Bonnie's Best. So they're just being rebels, rebelling it up. You over picking beans? I think we did the same thing last week. Yep. You got lost in the bean patrol. While she's a bean picking, we'll move right along. So over here is the variety bed. Everything is so tall. I mean, just so tall and just still producing. We did lose one, and that was due to caterpillars. This was one of the brandywines. She just went down. We didn't get all of them enough, but we were able to save it to where it was just this one that went down. Look at you over there. Just take the whole plant with you next time, why don't you? The comfrey's still doing good. These are some more black brandywines. This plant is up there. And so these stakes are about, I'd say 8 to 9 foot tall. So these plants, for most of them, are about 12 foot tall. And I'm not gonna duct tape another tobacco stick to the top. They're just gonna be that tall, and I'm kind of leaning things against each other. But we're just kind of letting them do their thing now and rocking and rolling. All kinds of white cherries, they're still in there. We planted way too many white cherries, to be honest with y'all. We have so many white cherries. We wish we had more of the, you know, big, beautiful tomatoes, but they're so good. We'll definitely plant them again. Oh, look at you. Look how big that is. That is a Brandywine, and that is a beast. My goodness, we got a big spider web right there. It's always nice to see in the tomato plants. We got some Romas, more white cherries, and then this plant. This is the one Jen and I wanted to talk about a little bit more. We had our first ripe pink oxheart, and she's still over there doing green beans, but she's listening. We had our first pink oxheart, and it is delicious. It's a very meaty tomato when you cut it open, and they're so big and they're so good, and they really produce well. There is not hardly any small pink oxhearts up in here. And it was kind of a late starter, but it's really delicious. Finally done?
No, there's more, but I got hot.
I was just telling them about the pink oxhearts and how much we love them.
They're so good. They're my favorite ever tomato I've ever tasted.
Yeah, very delicious.
Look at that. White cherries.
I know, white cherries for days, for days. We got our pepper plants down here, these Jimmy Nardellos. Delicious. We're gonna plant a lot more of those next year. Some more bells. Over here, this big leaning guy is Aunt Ruby's German green. He's making his way on out past everything. Yeah. Some red cherries. More white cherries. Black Brandywines. This one I want to say is a Brandywine as well. We like those apparently too. Another Aunt Ruby's German green. And that is more Brandywines. So our tomato plants are not dying off when it comes to any kind of humidity or heat or anything like that. It's mainly just bug patrol, which we have a pretty good handle on. Like I said, we lost the one, but everything else is done just fantastic. We don't have any more issues at all. So we're still just letting them rock and roll.
These are my tenderette bush beans. Love them. I take back what I said. They are now producing everywhere. They're huge. I still don't know if I'll grow them again just for reasons of space and all that kind of stuff, but they're doing well this year, and I'm really proud of them because they're finally taking off and doing what I wanted them to do. So they're good. We're gonna have quite a few green beans. Still don't know if it'll be enough to can, but at least we can eat them.
Yep, and these were planted the exact same day as those Galapagos.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yep.
So, you make your own judgment. That's why we ain't growing them Galapagos thingies anymore. Over here we got our carrots that are really getting big and doing just awesome. I watered everything earlier this morning, so that's why they're kind of leaning over. But they're getting close. They're getting very, very close, and I'm very impressed by how well they've grown, and I can't wait to taste them. Over here we got the mini white cucumbers. We got a bunch in here ready before they get overripe. These plants are doing awesome. I'm so happy with the second spring plants that we grew. I mean, we grew these because they said they were fast growers, and they are. And they produce like crazy. So Jen's got all kinds more pickles that she needs to be putting up.
Yeah, buddy.
And over here, this is probably our most dieback that we've had, which you all have kind of been witnessing these for the past few weeks. These are cucumbers that have been over here on our pallet trellises. They're still going and still moving up, but the ends are healthy and they're still got nice cucumbers on them. But they're starting to die off in the back. So we don't think that we're gonna have a whole lot longer, but you know, as I say that, look at there. Yes, look at this cucumber in here. Huge. I'm starting to think we can't kill a cucumber. Even though the plant looks about as dead as it can be. Look at these, look how dead they look. And they still just producing like crazy. I tell you what, look at there. What you gonna do? You hot, babe?
Yeah, look. Just washed my hair.
Got the curls going again. Her hair loves this August humidity here in Kentucky.
I keep hearing everyone talking about, you know, how they can feel the coolness of fall coming on, and That's not happening here.
No, but you keep mentioning the fall breeze we keep getting.
At night, at about 6 o'clock at night, we get a little hint of what I call the fall breeze. And it feels really, really good. And then it goes away. It's just a very short time. But it's nice when it happens.
I vent to her all the time. I'm like, in the wintertime, you can't get a day without wind. It just pierces through your skin, and it's always so cold. I was like, if we could just get a little bit of that in the summer, it would be beautiful. Nice. But we're getting some of that around here in Kentucky. She keeps calling it a fall breeze. I say it's trying to blow in a storm. We ain't got a storm yet, so she may be right. But kind of the story today is, we kind of wanted to talk science versus actual experience. So without getting into too much detail, you know, when you're starting to get these bugs and stuff and your plants are dying off and different things are starting to pull back because they've peaked and they've given you mass amounts of fruits, if things start dying off, it's okay. When you're organic gardening, you know, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that just doesn't work. It's not gonna save your plant, and that's kind of the process. So, you know, we can use so much science and say that this will not work or this will work and all these different things and be so sure. But you know, a scientist or a group of scientists or researchers or whatever you want to say probably tested 100 different gardens, and then they said this will not work because we tested 100. Well, there's billions of gardens out there, and everything's going to be a little bit different per garden. You know, so try to save your things, put whatever organic thing that you think might deter a bug or move a bug on, and see if it works, and then maybe you'll have that for next year. But if they die, let it die, y'all. It's okay.
Try again.
That's right.
And I think one of the biggest things that we always try to do is, yes, we do read books and we do research online, but the most of our knowledge comes from experience.
Yep.
And where we don't have experience, we will ask someone that does have experience local to us.
Yep.
Instead of going and Googling and, you know, asking people that are on the other side of the country for you, because that really just doesn't apply to your garden whatsoever. It's best to just, you know, find that old farmer or gardener and ask him, you know, what's worked for him, what's he done, what's he learned in all his years. And there's always someone, I mean, there's always someone close to you that you can ask that does this kind of thing and enjoys it and has all the knowledge that you need. So just remember that, you know, Googling and textbooks and stuff like that aren't always going to give you the answer that you need.
Yep.
You need answers from an experienced person around you that has been doing this, if that's not yourself. So
yep. And the biggest thing to remember, a person wrote a book, a person did a research, a person did reports. So they just test and learned as well. You do it too. You can do it as well, and you can figure it out. This cat. Yeah. People are doing things. You can do the same thing, is my point. Is, you know, just because a book says it or the internet says it, doesn't mean that's the same for you, because you can do that too. People do these things, and so you can treat your garden however you want to treat it. Let things die, try to keep things growing. You do what you want to do to your garden, and then next year you're going to have a whole load of experience and say, I did this last year, it did work, it didn't work, and now you're even more knowledgeable and can probably write your own book.
Yep.
So. And
don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. And most importantly, don't ever tell anyone that they can't do something, because that's just not nice, and it's not true. You know? Absolutely.
We will never, ever say something won't work.
And if someone tells you can't do something, come tell us and we'll get them.
Man, I am sweaty.
Yeah, it's awful.
It is like 8 a.m. and I'm just pouring some sweat off my face. So I think this is where we're going to leave y'all. There you go. Wipe it on my shirt. Why not? Alright, y'all, well, I hope you enjoyed the garden walk today. Things are starting to die off, but that just means they're making room for the fall.
That's right. We're super excited about that. We're going to start planting tomorrow.
Yes.
Don't worry, you will see it all. We will take you along for it, and you will not miss a thing.
Until the next one.
Until the next one. We love y'all.
Bye.